All right. So this is quite important to know what you want rather than what other people want you to want. And because I started this day with talking about food, it's also important to me to say that diet is important. Quick energy from sugar might push you to do something right now, but on the long run, it's going to suck you dry. Because while at times you will feel like having no energy at all without eating sugar, there will be times where you have way too much energy. And that's just gonna introduce really unhealthy habits and mindsets. And yeah, this may just conclude today's session, because I feel like this is all I want to say, but just something more, something else. Now, for example, I know now I have several weeks where I have time to plan ahead. So I can think about, because I like these black and white shots quite a lot, I can think about doing more of that sort. Because it's also something that gives me something to do. Because if I do nothing, I will fail to use my depression as something that moves me forward, but my depression will then force me to stay stuck. Now every day I wake up and I feel like there's at least one thing I want to do today. So I try to figure out what is I'm depressed about. Sometimes I don't even do that anymore. So it's more about, okay, what do I want to do despite my depression? I feel like recording videos. Right now I don't feel like doing anything because I hate the world. So I have to find ways that enable me to record videos. Now, previously I would always, I would have eaten sugar now to push me into doing it. I would have drunk a coffee to push me into doing this. But I also realized on the long run this is quite unhealthy. And it turns me into something or someone that I don't want to be. So I want to have more stability. So for me it was important to find ways to do what I want to do without doing things that I don't want to do. So yes, maybe for the moment eating sugar will put a smile on my face, but in the long run it will make me sad. Because it's actually not according to my nature to be like that needy little shit. I'm actually quite okay on my own, but I also tend to forget that. And I tend to want to forget that. So that's why I also stuff myself with these things, because, they make me happy for a while. So they make me forget my unhappiness. But because now I create something just like my podcast, this is like accompanying me, knowing it is running in the background. It's working on its own, and I'm producing, I'm using that energy to produce something instead of taking energy from the outside, that's actually not energy. It's like, because yes, eating sugar can keep you going, but you don't know what it's doing inside of you. Because if something makes you feel that good, as eating sugar does, it surely can't be really healthy. Because happiness should always come from within you, so it's rather about doing what you like than to stuff yourself full of stuff. So yeah, it's hard, because I have to change the way I do things again. And then I'm afraid that I won't do them as well. But doing them like I used to just started to burn me out. And that's what sugar and coffee does. It will burn you out on the long run. And it's probably something that people use because they're actually not happy. So they think coffee will give them happiness, but it can never do that. And neither can sugar, unless you use it like on an irregular basis. So if you would drink a coffee once a month and really look forward to it, to drink coffee once a month, that's something different than drinking it every day. The same with eating meat. Like, I don't eat meat. But if you were to eat meat and you would eat meat only each Sunday or only once a month, you would be able to appreciate it much more. And that's probably the same with creative work, at least for me. I cannot appreciate writing as much if I do it every day. So if I'm able to record videos, I can fill the rest of the time with something useful, while during the other time I can do writing. And then it's just kind of a stretch for me to figure out how to do both at the same time and still find the right timing. Because if I'm just writing, that's all I do then is write books. But then I also still have the feeling I want to create videos. So I have to find time to do both. And I still have to keep myself spontaneous so that, when I will be a father and a husband, and when I'm not alone anymore in that way, that I have enough time to spend with them, because that's what is important to me. So yeah, figuring out how these things work for myself is quite important. And then finding the way also that diet works for me. And I don't think eating a lot of sugar will work for anyone. And neither does drinking a lot of coffee, unless you're just running the materialistic mindset, because then you just suddenly get sick and have cancer, and then you'll die of it or something. I don't know. Doesn't mean spiritual people can't get cancer. I want to check if this is still recording. Whoa, it is. Cheerio.